Hi everyone. I just wanted to share with you guys what I'm doing. Maybe this will be of help to someone who might be trying to do the same type of thing. So here is some interfacing that I had left over from a previous skirt that I did, and this is actually part of an old curtain just to create extra fabric on the inside of the skirt. So this skirt here. Let me lay it out for you. This skirt was actually attached to this top part of the dress. So it was a dress at first and it was attached. It had a zipper attached along with it, which I can't find the zipper right now, but it did have a zipper in the back part here, and so I took the zipper out and everything in the back part here. So I went ahead and I took the zipper out and detached the bottom portion of the skirt from the top. So I'm not going to use that. So now what I'm doing is I'm adding in interfacing in order to create strength in the waistband. So I'm just going to explain to you what I did because I've already added in some interfacing and also that extra fabric, like I said, to one portion of it. But I will go ahead and explain how I did that. And then I'm also going to finish out the rest of my skirt and also add a zipper. So, so here's my skirt. This will be the portion where I'll add the zipper. I'll cut it all the way down and add the zipper. So this here is the portion in which I've already done. So let me move it around here so you can see it. Okay, so as you can see here, this is very flimsy. It's not very uh, tight, and it doesn't hold. It doesn't hold. But here on this portion, you can see I've kind of made it a little bit thicker and added in the interfacing so that it has strength in the waistband. So now let me just explain to you what I did, and this might be something you can do. There is an easier or a longer way to do this per se, by just detaching the entire skirt down its seams and also the waistband portion, and then just cutting out a long strip and a long strip of interfacing and just kind of get it in there and sew it in. But I don't want to take this skirt completely apart, so I'm just doing it in pieces. So if you want to do it the other way, that's absolutely fine. I'm just choosing to do it this way just so I don't have to redo the seams. So, you know, might be a little more difficult for some people, but this is, the other way might be easier, or this way might be simpler, and the other one might be harder, but either way, it can get done either way. Okay, so explaining what I did, I went ahead and on the inside of the waistband, I took measurements, or rather, I just put the interfacing up close to it, and then I cut a strip of interfacing that fit along the inside of the waistband, inside of each crease. There's a crease at the top and the crease at the bottom on my particular skirt. I went ahead and I cut a strip out that went from the seam line until the other seam line that was there. And so then I added in that interfacing portion, or I cut out that interfacing portion, and then I put it to the side. When I put it to the side, I then also I went and I cut the strip of fabric that I needed, also the extra strip of fabric from the curtain that I'm using. Um, I measured that out, cut it out, and then I went ahead and overlay the edges because I don't have a one of those fancy machines. I don't have one of those, so I just do an overlay from my regular stitch machine. I went ahead and did the overlay on the edges. This portion I didn't need to do it on. It's already done, and it's just extra. It's going to be an extra portion of the seam allowance. If I need to do it later, then I will. But especially at the top and the bottom and on the other side here, I went ahead and did the overlay. I then attached, if I can show you here. on the bottom part, which shows like this on the outside, on the bottom portion of this, I went ahead and I sewed the extra piece of fabric on it, and then so when I did it like this, and so then I just folded it over. Once I sewed that portion onto the extra seam allowance that was here on the skirt, I folded that piece over, and I made sure that it was cut evenly along the edge of the skirt. I don't necessarily want it to show above it or anything like that. So I just made sure it was even, and then of course did the overlay. Then I added in the piece of interfacing. You can't really see the interfacing from here because this was an extra seam allowance that was folded over. I just slid it underneath it, inside of it. But either way, I put the interfacing piece in there in between, like you can see here, in between these two folds. So when I took the fabric, that second piece of fabric here, and I attached it to this, I basically took it and I did like this. And then I just sewed it along there. Then I took the piece of interfacing and I placed it in between. I then took that piece of fabric, folded it over. Sorry, one moment. Okay. I then took that extra piece of fabric and folded it over. And then once I cut it out so that it matches the outside, I went ahead and did the overlay. And then I went and I did a straight stitch as close to the edge as possible, which I still use my overlay foot. Just let me show you my overlay foot. That is my overlay foot. So then when I went to do the straight stitch, I just changed it to the straight stitch that would allow it to be over on this side. And I allowed the edge of the fabric to use this as a guide. And then it created that straight stitch all the way down. So that straight stitch is right here. And so I'll show you what it looks like on the other side. So you see the straight stitch on the other side, it doesn't look bad. Doesn't look too bad. So now when I wear it, it'll definitely have that strength in the waistband, and it'll still be neat, and that interfacing will stay in. But even after I finished that, I went ahead and I used the iron and I pressed it down just to really get the interfacing to kind of lay in there well. So now that I've shown you that, that is basically what I'm going to do for the rest of the garment, all around the waistband in order to make it stronger. And then I will add in the zipper that I had taken out of the top piece earlier. I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet. I might take off the lace and do something with it, but I'm not sure yet. But anyway, I'll finish this and maybe I'll have something that'll show it finished later. But I just wanted to show that just in case if someone was wondering. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. God bless. Take care. Bye.